As we sit here today, are there enough ventilators in this country?
In a worst-case scenario, ventilators would be one of the choke points, if you will, for effective response.
Dr. Thomas Frieden was the head of the CDC during the Obama administration.
It's not clear that we would have enough in a worst-case scenario. That's one thing that healthcare facilities need to get ready to surge.
They're trying. This little company in Washington State, Ventec Life Systems, is on the receiving end of many of those calls.
We're talking to federal, state, and local authorities from CDC to HHS, as well as other states around the country. We're talking to ministers of health in over 65 different countries. We are responding in the best way that we know how.
They say they're selling their ventilators on a first-come, first-served basis, except to one group.
We are getting calls from high net worth individuals and from people who are worried and want to take care of their families. And that's very real. Right now, we're choosing to fulfill the orders not to individuals.
Ventec, with only 130 or so employees, has been making an FDA-approved ventilator for just over 2 years. They're one of about 5 ventilator manufacturing companies in the U.S. and only about 12 worldwide. They've been a small player, producing about 150 ventilators a month.
We're working to scale production within the next 90 days to get to 1,000 units per month. As of right now, we haven't had any issues with our suppliers.
Their ventilators are unique, the only ones that come with multiple functions that can also run on batteries.
Our device can be used literally from the hospital to the home.
Or in school gyms or tents, if it comes to that. But even increasing production so dramatically is a drop in the bucket of need. In total, American hospitals have approximately 160,000 ventilators. As for the national stockpile, because it's classified, those with direct knowledge will only tell us there are more than 10,000 ventilators there. And while that may sound like a lot, in a worst-case scenario, the U.S. need could be massive, up to 960,000 ventilators. That's a shortfall of roughly 790,000.
We are going to keep the factory running around the clock. We're in a unique position to really help, and every Voxen we get out the door can save someone's life.
Cynthia McFadden, NBC News, New York.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.